Have you ever wondered why some people live to 90 or even 100, staying sharp and healthy, while many others don't make it past 80, even though they eat well and exercise regularly? In modern life, where the average life expectancy has surpassed 76, many people still pass away early, not because of serious illnesses, but due to seemingly invisible causes: loss, loneliness, and unnamed emotional wounds that accumulate over the years. Imagine Mr. David, 74 years old, a former technician in Ohio. After his wife passed away, he lived alone in a spacious but empty house. Every day he still walked, ate healthily, but prolonged insomnia, a constant sense of isolation, and the inability to express his emotions gradually wore down his health. 3 months later, he died suddenly of a heart attack. Mr. David's story is not rare, and what's more concerning is that many factors shortening seniors' lifespans are not due to illness or accidents, but stem from neglected psychological issues, repressed emotions, fractured relationships, or a quiet belief that my time is over. This video will help you uncover 5 surprising yet very real reasons that silently weaken the body and mind of older adults. And the wonderful truth is, you can completely change that. If you care about your mental and physical health, or that of your loved ones, please click like, share this video, and leave a comment, because sometimes just one small story can save a life. Have you ever seen someone live in loneliness after turning 70? Are you quietly worried about your own old age? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm here to listen. Now let's begin this journey of discovery, starting with the smallest things. In a society that values connection, everyone understands that close relationships with family, friends, and community play an important role in mental health. But few people realize that it's the brief, daily interactions that act as the invisible glue holding our minds together. Have you ever felt a sense of relief just because the mail carrier greeted you in the morning? Or felt seen when a store clerk remembered your name? These small moments are, in fact, the spiritual threads that help older adults feel present and connected to life. As we age, our social circles shrink due to retirement, the loss of loved ones, or simply going out less. Casual conversations, passing greetings, or a friendly glance gradually disappear. And this doesn't just cause boredom. Biologically, a lack of small social interactions can reduce the production of oxytocin and dopamine, 2 hormones that help us feel happy, safe, and valued. Prolonged loneliness weakens the immune system, impairs memory, and significantly increases the risk of depression or Alzheimer's disease. Even more concerning is that many people don't realize their lack of communication isn't because they've gotten used to the quiet, but due to conditions like declining vision, hearing loss, or the self-consciousness of starting a conversation. The good news is, you don't need big gatherings or deep relationships to restore your sense of connection. A simple greeting to a neighbor, a small question to a cashier, or a smiling glance at a stranger can be enough for your brain to register a positive signal. You can set a simple goal. Create at least 1 conversation a day, even if it lasts just a few seconds. Don't wear headphones when you go for a walk. Observe and interact with the world around you. If you have trouble hearing, don't hesitate to use a hearing aid, because the ability to listen is also a key to staying connected. We are never too old to reopen ourselves to the world. Every glance, every greeting you offer is a message that says, I am still here, I am still alive. And sometimes, just one such moment is enough to keep the heart and spirit healthy. As social connections begin to fade, another factor also starts to disappear. Movement. In the next section, we'll explore why being overly cautious with physical activity might be silently shortening the lives of older adults. From a young age, we're taught that better safe than sorry. And as we grow older, that caution often becomes instinct, especially when it comes to movement. However, in the US, where fall rates among people over 65 are high, many older adults have chosen the path of absolute safety, limiting mobility, avoiding physical activity, even staying indoors all day, just to reduce the risk of falling. But ironically, that very approach exposes them to an even more serious risk. Have you ever seen someone decline an outdoor activity because they were afraid of falling? Or have you yourself ever hesitated to stand up without something to hold on to? This sense of insecurity about one's body leads many to avoid all forms of physical movement. Even simple actions like walking to the garden, climbing stairs, or reaching for a book. Yet, not moving regularly leads to silent consequences: loss of muscle mass, diminished balance, weaker bones, and poorer circulation. This doesn't just weaken the body, it also takes a toll on the mind. Seniors may start to feel helpless, useless, and increasingly withdraw into themselves. Studies at geriatric institutions show that just 2 weeks of complete bed rest can cause older adults to lose 10% to 15% of their muscle mass. More than that, imbalanced physical activity affects sleep quality, daily energy levels, and even one's ability to care for oneself. What's frightening is that the cycle of less movement, more weakness, more fear, even less movement, can unfold rapidly, within just a few months, turning someone once independent into someone dependent on others for even the smallest tasks. But that doesn't mean it's irreversible. Movement doesn't have to mean hitting the gym or going for a run. Simply standing up once every hour, walking around the house, doing basic stretches, or taking light walks outside can have a positive impact on your muscles, cardiovascular system, and mental health. Most importantly, it should become a habit built from small, consistent actions. You can also use safety aids like walking sticks, non-slip mats, or soft-soled shoes to boost confidence and ensure safety while moving. Every step you take, every time you raise your arm or bend down, is a message to your body. I'm still alive. I'm still in control. Don't let fear run your life. You don't need to do a lot, but you need to do it consistently. That is the key to preserving physical strength, independence, and dignity in old age. After movement, another often overlooked factor also strongly affects seniors' health: light. In the next section, we'll explore why light, something seemingly invisible, can actually influence your sleep, memory, and even your emotions every single day. In modern life, we often talk about diet, exercise, and mental well-being as key factors in maintaining health in old age. But there's another element, silent, yet deeply influential, that's often overlooked: light. Not just the light you see, but the way light, or the lack of it, controls your body's entire biological rhythm each day. Have you ever noticed that you sleep poorly or wake up tired even after lying in bed for a full 8 hours? Or have you experienced quiet, unexplained sadness in the late afternoon? These symptoms may not come from aging, but from light disruption in your daily environment. Among older adults, this is even more common. Many live in enclosed spaces, with limited exposure to natural daylight. Meanwhile, at night, light from TVs, ceiling lamps, or phone screens constantly shines into their eyes, causing the body to confuse day with night. Light is the natural switch that regulates the body's biological clock, coordinating when you feel alert and when you need to rest. When daylight is insufficient, especially in the morning, the body doesn't produce enough serotonin, a hormone that boosts mood and regulates your circadian rhythm. On the other hand, overexposure to blue light from screens or LED lighting at night stops the body from producing melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep deeply. The result? Restless sleep, unstable mood, memory decline, and a weakened immune system over time. But this can be fully improved by adjusting your daily light exposure. Just 15 to 30 minutes of natural light in the morning, such as walking outdoors or sitting near a sunny window, is enough to reset your biological clock. In the evening, turn off electronic devices at least 1 hour before bedtime. Instead, try using soft, warm lights, listening to calming music, or reading a physical book. If you live in an area with little sunlight, consider using a light therapy box in the morning, a widely used method for treating seasonal circadian rhythm disorders. Deep sleep doesn't come from pills. It comes from harmony between your body and your living environment. Once you understand how light influences your brain, you can redesign your surroundings to support better sleep, improve your mood, and even slow down cognitive decline. When sleep stabilizes, the mind gets to rest, the body recovers, and from there, you gain more strength to face the emotional weight that often surfaces in old age. In the next section, we'll look closely at something deeply human, suppressed pain, and why it may silently damage your health more than you realize. There's something people rarely talk about when it comes to aging: the unending experience of loss. The loss of loved ones, the loss of friends, the loss of social roles, and sometimes the loss of feeling is needed. In Western culture, where independence is highly valued, many older adults learn to endure in silence, to hide their pain, and to live as if everything is fine. But the body doesn't know how to lie. Every repressed emotion becomes a burden, one that accumulates not only in the soul, but in the immune system, the digestive system, and even in sleep. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm fine," but their eyes look tired and their voice trembles? Those polite responses are protective shells formed after years of hurt and loss. When someone isn't allowed or doesn't allow themselves to speak about their pain, the emotion doesn't disappear. It simply transforms into chronic stress, prolonged insomnia, unexplained stomach aches, weakened immunity, and in some cases, depression or heart disease. Long-term emotional freezing also causes older adults to withdraw, lose interest in life, and avoid the very things that once brought them joy. This isn't uncommon. Millions of seniors live alone. And even when children or grandchildren are around, many still feel isolated due to generational gaps, unspoken feelings, or simply not wanting to become a burden. The culture of self-reliance sometimes causes people to forget that being vulnerable, crying, and sharing are all part of healing. But the good news is this: emotions can be released gently and safely. You don't have to tell your entire life story. It can begin with a small action: writing in a journal each morning, joining a support group at a local community center, or simply talking to a trusted person, not to get advice, but just to be heard. These seemingly simple activities have been shown to reduce cortisol, the stress hormone, boost immunity, and significantly improve sleep quality. Most importantly, they remind you that you are not alone and you don't have to go through everything by yourself. There is no such thing as too late for healing. Even if you've been silent for 5 years, 10 years, or a lifetime, today can still be the first day you begin to let go. Sometimes all it takes is a phone call, a handwritten note, or a warm hug to reopen a door that's long been closed in your heart. When emotions are released, life has a chance to come alive again. And it is in that moment that a deeper question arises. What am I living for? In the next section, we'll reach the final root, the loss of purpose, and how to reclaim it from the smallest, most ordinary things. In our younger years, we often live by a long to-do list: work, responsibilities, and dreams. But as we enter old age, especially after retirement, and once the children are grown, those lists gradually disappear. There's no one left who needs us to make breakfast, no meetings to prepare for, no short-term goals to pursue. And then, day by day, many older adults begin to wake up with a strange, unfamiliar feeling. What am I living for today? Have you ever had a morning like that? When do you open your eyes without a clear reason to get out of bed? When the entire day passes with just the TV, a phone, and a simple meal, yet nothing truly stirs your heart. Losing a sense of purpose, even the smallest one, is one of the deepest causes behind the prolonged fatigue, lack of motivation, and even depression that many seniors experience. And this doesn't only affect the mind, it directly impacts physical health as well, lowering immunity, increasing the risk of chronic inflammation, and accelerating cognitive decline. It's paradoxical that in a modern society where opportunities for older adults to engage are more abundant than ever, so many still feel left behind. The reason may lie in how society continues to tie purpose to professional roles or family duties. When those roles fade, many older individuals start to ask themselves, am I still of any use? If that question goes unanswered, it slowly erodes self-worth and personal value. But purpose doesn't have to be some grand ideal. Sometimes it's simply taking care of a potted plant, writing a few lines in a journal each morning, sending a card to an old friend, or joining a painting class at the local community center. These seemingly small, yet consistent activities can create a sense of direction, responsibility, and most importantly, joy. You might also try setting personal missions each week, cooking a new dish, learning a greeting in another language, or simply calling someone you haven't spoken to in a while. When you rediscover something that makes you want to wake up in the morning, even just one small thing, that is your spark. It doesn't have to burn brightly. It just needs to glow steadily, enough to warm your day and reconnect you with yourself. And the most beautiful truth is this: no one but you can define what your purpose in life is. Whether you are 70, 80, or 90, you still have something to give. A kind word, a smile, an idea. And when you begin to live with purpose, no matter how small, you don't just live longer, you live more deeply, more clearly, and more joyfully. Thank you for taking the time to listen, reflect, and walk alongside me on this journey to uncover 5 silent yet powerful reasons why the lives of older adults may be shortened, not because of age, but because of the prolonged silence that builds from within. We've spoken about the importance of small but meaningful social interactions, about physical movement as an act of self-love, about light as the invisible clock that regulates emotion and memory, about the pain that needs to be voiced, and finally, about purpose, something no one can hand to you except yourself. So, after everything, what are you carrying with you? A thought, a feeling, or perhaps a gentle reminder that you, no matter your age, still have the full capacity to live each day with meaning. I invite you to share your thoughts. What part of today's message resonated with you the most? Where do you see yourself in that picture? And where would you like to begin making a change? Leave a comment, not just for me to read, but for others to feel seen, understood, and reminded that they are not alone. If you found this content helpful, don't hesitate to click like, share it with your loved ones, or subscribe so you won't miss future videos. Every share you make is not just a way to spread information, it's a quiet act of care for someone you love. We are not just independent individuals, we are a community capable of preserving health, meaning, and hope, no matter how much time has passed. And before we close, I want you to remember one thing. You are never too old to start living with intention. Life is not measured by the number of years, but by the number of moments you truly connect with yourself.